Neuro Linguistic Programming. The future of influence. In the modern world, where communication defines success, neuro-linguistic programming (NLP) stands as one of the most fascinating and controversial tools ever developed to understand and influence human behavior. Rooted in psychology, linguistics, and behavioral science, NLP explores how language, thoughts, and emotions interact to shape our perception of reality. Though often associated with therapy and personal development, it has also become a powerful instrument in leadership, education, marketing, and even artificial intelligence. As humanity advances into an era dominated by emotional intelligence and digital persuasion, many experts are beginning to ask, is NLP the future of influence? 1. Origins. From observation to transformation, NLP was born in the 1970s at the University of California, Santa Cruz through the collaboration of Richard Bandler, a mathematician and computer scientist, and John Grinder, a linguist. Together, they sought to decode what made certain therapists, such as Fritz Perls' Gestalt therapy, Virginia Satir family therapy, and Milton Erickson hypnotherapy, exceptionally effective at changing people's lives. Their idea was radical yet simple. If human excellence can be modeled, then it can be replicated. By studying how successful communicators used language, body movement, and thought patterns, Bandler and Grinder created a framework that could be taught to anyone. They believed that success was not random, but rather a result of specific, reproducible strategies encoded in our language and behavior. The name neuro-linguistic programming reflects its three main components. Neuro, how the mind and nervous system process information. Linguistic, how language structures our experience. Programming, how behavioral patterns can be modified and reprogrammed for desired outcomes. Through this triad, NLP proposed that by changing how we think and speak, we can change how we feel and act, essentially rewriting the software of the mind. 2. The core principles, understanding human experience at its heart. NLP operates on several foundational beliefs about human behavior. The map is not the territory, but each person experiences the world through their own mental mapper, subjective representation shaped by beliefs, experiences, and emotions. NLP teaches that effective communication begins by understanding another person's map, not by imposing your own. There is no failure, only feedback. Instead of labeling outcomes as success or failure, NLP reframes them as information to improve future actions. This perspective promotes resilience and continuous learning. People have all the resources they need. NLP assumes that individuals already possess the internal tools to achieve their goals. The challenge lies in accessing and aligning those resources effectively. If one person can do something, anyone can learn to do it. Excellence is not a mystery, it can be modeled, taught, and mastered. These presuppositions form the ethical and practical foundation for using NLP, not as manipulation, but as empowerment. 3. Techniques of influence. NLP provides a rich toolkit for understanding and influencing both oneself and others. Some of the most widely used techniques include anchoring, creating a mental or physical trigger like a gesture or word that evokes a desired emotional state. For instance, a speaker might anchor confidence before stepping on stage by repeating a specific motion associated with previous success. Mirroring and matching, subtly reflecting another person's body language, tone, or pace of speech to build rapport. When done naturally, it enhances trust and connection. Reframing, changing the context or meaning of an experience to produce a different emotional response. What once felt like a failure can be reframed as a lesson or opportunity. Swish pattern, a visualization method to replace unwanted habits or reactions with more positive ones by mentally swishing from the old image to the new. Meta model and Milton model to linguistic tools one used to clarify vague language and uncover hidden beliefs. Meta model and the other two artfully induce translate states through hypnotic suggestion. Milton model. These methods have been adopted by therapists, coaches, negotiators, and marketers to influence thought and behavior ethically or, at times, controversially. For NLP in modern communication and business, in today's hyper-connected environment, where attention is the new currency, NLP principles are being rediscovered and reimagined. Businesses use them to design persuasive messaging, enhance leadership, and optimize customer engagement. In sales and marketing, NLP helps brands craft emotionally resonant messages that align with customer values. Words like imagine, discover, and feel tap into sensory and emotional systems, making advertisements more compelling. In leadership, great leaders often employ NLP techniques unconsciously using language patterns that inspire action, mirroring team energy and reframing challenges as possibilities. In education, teachers use NLP-based strategies to improve student motivation, confidence, and memory by aligning lessons with visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning styles. In coaching, NLP provides tools for goal setting, overcoming limiting beliefs, and developing resilience. Coaches use it to help clients visualize success and internalize empowerment. Even artificial intelligence and chatbot systems now integrate linguistic modeling reminiscent of NLP, blurring the line between human persuasion and digital empathy. 5. The neuroscience connection. While early critics dismissed NLP as pseudoscience due to limited empirical evidence, recent research in neuroscience and cognitive psychology has begun to validate some of its underlying principles. For instance, studies on mirror neurons explain why mirroring builds rapport, activates shared neural pathways of empathy. Research on neuroplasticity supports the idea that changing thought patterns can literally rewire the brain. Cognitive linguistics confirms that metaphors and language profoundly shape perception and behavior. Modern NLP practitioners are now integrating these scientific findings to create more evidence-based approaches, bridging the gap between psychology and communication science. 6. The ethical debate, influence versus manipulation. NLP's power to shape perception naturally raises ethical concerns. When used with integrity, it empowers individuals to communicate authentically and help others overcome limitations. However, in the wrong hands, the same techniques can be exploited for manipulation, covert persuasion, deceptive advertising, or emotional control. This ethical tension defines the current challenge for NLP in the 21st century: how to teach influence responsibly. Many training programs now emphasize emotional intelligence, empathy, and transparency as essential safeguards. True NLP mastery, proponents argue, is not about control but connection. 7. The digital age and the next frontier as artificial intelligence and machine learning evolve. NLP's concepts are gaining renewed relevance. Modern NLP in computer science, ironically, using the same acronym, stands for natural language processing, the field enabling AI systems to understand and generate human language. Although distinct in origin, both human NLP and digital NLP share a goal: interpreting language patterns to predict or influence behavior. The convergence of these two worlds could define the future of communication. Imagine AI systems trained not just to respond intelligently, but persuasively capable of empathy, reframing, and motivational dialogue. In marketing, customer service, and education, this fusion could lead to hyper-personalized interaction. Yet, it also demands strong ethical frameworks to prevent exploitation of emotional data. 8. NLP and the human potential movement beyond business and technology. NLP remains a cornerstone of the self-improvement world. It embodies the spirit of human potential, the belief that individuals can consciously shape their reality. Workshops, books, and seminars worldwide continue to spread its teachings, inspiring millions to overcome phobias, improve relationships, and build confidence. For many, NLP is not merely a toolkit, but a philosophy, that language creates experience, and that by changing our words and thoughts, we can rewrite the story of our lives. 9. Criticism and future directions. Despite its popularity, NLP still faces skepticism. Some psychologists argue that its claims are exaggerated and that scientific validation remains inconsistent. However, newer generations of practitioners are addressing these criticisms through evidence-based practice, integrating neuroscience, positive psychology, and mindfulness. The next evolution of NLP may focus on neuro-integrative communication, a holistic blend of language, emotion, and biology. It may also play a role in digital empathy training, helping AI systems better understand human emotions through linguistic cues. Ultimately, NLP's survival and growth will depend on transparency, continual research, and ethical use. 10. Conclusion: the future of influence. Neuro-linguistic programming began as an experiment to decode excellence and evolved into a global movement that reshaped how people think about communication, success, and change. Its principles now echo across leadership seminars, coaching programs, and AI research labs. The question is not whether NLP will shape the future of influence it already has. The deeper question is how humanity will use it as a tool of understanding and connection, or as a weapon of manipulation. If applied with empathy, integrity, and innovation, NLP could guide the next frontier of human communication, where influence is no longer about power, but about partnership, where words don't just persuade, but heal, and where the true mastery of language becomes the mastery of life itself.